Hello guys, it's March Ritwik and I'm back with another video. Today we are going to look at some best emulators to use at Android for retro gaming obviously. So first up it's PPSSPP. This is an PSP emulator. Setting up PPSSPP is really easy. You have to log in and just give the game directory for it and it will just recognize your games, and you have to go in settings here, and I would recommend using backend as Vulkan. It will give you the best performance. And but if your game is lagging, try OpenGL also. So for resolution, it is up to your choice. By default, it will be in 2x. My phone is pretty powerful, so I have set it in 4x. So I recommend to turn on VSync and full screen. VSync because it will not give any screen tears. Then then you have to then you if you scroll down, you can also see an FPS counter, speed counter. You can use them. So that's it for PPSSPP. Really simple setup, and no ads, no nonsense. Best, most optimized emulator to use on Android. So on number two we have a Game Boy emulator, which is My Boy. So the setup is same. You just have to give the game directory and it will identify your ROMs, and your games will be there. No cover arts, no cover arts for this emulator because Game Boy is pretty old system, and mostly we are gonna play ROMX, so ROMX won't have cover arts either. So here we have to go in input to map our external controller. So if you go to input, you have to first off virtual keypad, so we can get rid of those on-screen controls, and you can go to key mapping here and map your controller. That's it for Game Boy. Next is Melon DS. Melon DS is the best DS emulator. The setup is also same. You just have to give the game directory, go in ROM, search directory, and if you go here, it will show DS. You have to use this folder. So yeah, it will show your games. If you want to increase the resolution, you have to come here. Uh, you can choose OpenGL and you can increase the native resolution. I wouldn't recommend this because there is a lot of screen tearing, and VSync option is also not there. So the best way to play DS games is the software. Next up is for NES, for the first three generations of console: NES, SNES, Sega, Genesis, or Neo Geo, Atari. I would recommend Lemuroid. So if you give the ROM directory for this emulator, it will just show the it will arrange your ROMs in an order. For example, you can see here NES ROMs, Genesis ROMs, and SNES ROMs. This is also a really good emulator. For this emulator, you don't even need to map a controller. It will identify the controller on its own and map the controller too. Next up, the best 3DS emulator is Azahar. For Azahar, you can also use a custom graphics driver if you have a Snapdragon phone. So you have to come here on graphics. For graphics, I think you have to go on System General or somewhere. I forgot, but yeah, I have installed a custom driver on this. So basically, you have to go to Google and you have to search the graphics driver for your Snapdragon. If you have a Snapdragon processor, you have to search that and download it and install it here. So for graphics, obviously I would recommend Vulkan, and internal resolution you can set up on your mobile's power. I am setting it to 2x. For graphics driver, you have to come here, GPU driver management. In default, it will be in system GPU driver. I have installed this Qualcomm Adreno 840 driver, which is working really good. My phone has the Snapdragon 7 Gen 3, and it is powerful enough to emulate all of these systems. It is not powerful to emulate PS2. We need a high-end phone for that. And if you have a Snapdragon 8 Gen processors, you can also emulate Switch. So for PS2 I would recommend the Nether SX2 emulator, and for Switch I would recommend the Eden emulator. Now let's move on, and the best Dreamcast emulator is Redream. I have the Redream Premium here. So Redream is also same. Just give the game directories, and if you don't have premium, you cannot set the game resolution. Since I have premium, I can change the game resolution here. I can do anything here. and to exit you have to press. And Redream, in my opinion, is the best looking emulator of all time. For N64 emulation, I recommend this app called as M64 ZX. This is the best M64 emulator. I'm sorry for the screen rotation. This is the best N64 emulator. You can find very well optimized, and it has all the features like external controller or the resolution. Last but not least is the PS1 emulator called DuckStation. The setup of this might be complicated. First, you have to go in Google and search for the BIOS file. After you download the BIOS file, you have to put in this, and you have to give the ROM directories. If you want to download the cover arts for the games, you have to go to GitHub, copy the URL, search PS1 covers, copy the URL there, and come in the system, and you have to select this download covers option and paste the URL, and the app will download the covers on its own. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you want to see more videos like this. Bye bye.